And everything was okay with Morgan?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. I didn't go try to get seven boys to play with the weatherman.
Absolutely. We had to make those hikes.
Yeah, I know.
That crazy Monday.
There's a immersive Titanic.
Yes, but weatherman is
Yeah.
like so lively.
There's a King Tut one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, my,
I did a little research on that place.
Oh, you did? Which is what now?
It was done by, it was a New Zealand whaling,
Oh, let's see.
it was part of the Commonwealth of the United Kingdom.
That's so cool. I would never have known. Yeah, really, that's so
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, what else?
And that was basically the logistics.
When the King
told
Tut
the story
came
of
the first time.
ship that went out to sea and caught a whale, and the Roman brothers would go out and supply the ships with their,
I'm
With
not
their
gonna go look.
rum.
This was once.
Oh, with their what?
I'm not gonna look.
rum,
You can
Right.
sugar,
Yeah,
exactly.
where was
So-
it?
sugar, rum, tea,
Mhm.
and all of that. All those things. So listen, are you ready to?
I am. Thank you, Debbie.
Yes, my name again, please?
Eileen.
Eileen.
I'm Mrs. Joanne.
Hi, Joanne. I just have an interesting name.
This guitar is never perfectly tuned, so that's.
Hi, Allison. Hi.
Hi, Joanne.
Hi, Allison.
Eileen.
Olivia, you feeling better here?
Yeah.
Everything, it was all in here, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pain. Only happens a few times in your life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. How are you?
Good.
Good. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. How's everybody?
I can't tune this guitar.
No?
No, it's not the guitar, it's just, there's a problem with it.
Yeah.
A little more.
Well,
It's okay.
You have it,
I
you
used
have
to go,
it.
we used to
No,
have
this is
silent
the best
meetings.
guitar in the world. No, I want it.
Oh, I get. Okay. Oh, okay.
And fix it. I have to do, like WD-30 or whatever that.
And, it was,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or
So,
3-in-1. David says I should use 3-in-1. Because I can't even move the thingies to tune.
And I'm dumping a lot of it on poor Tracy.
They're like stiff. Rigor mortis is set in.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes.
You might want to put Lisa Marie Presley in your.
I used to volunteer at the college.
I'll think about it.
No, actually, David, thank you.
Yeah,
that is not funny.
No, it's not.
Wow.
Jeremy Harris, did he die? No, that's a bit sure. Oh, to get well, get well. Oh my goodness. And somebody said like her father died, like the grandmother did. Yeah, but they said that it was.
Seems like this job is pretty much able to maintain the students that you have to.
Good.
Probably because
I'm glad to hear you say that.
Elvis is paternal grandparent.
Actually, it's,
Now that together, yeah, of course. And of course the drugs. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. That was still a big death. I know. She's very fortunate. Yeah. That Nicholas Cage for 3 months. Yeah. Michael Jackson 2 years. Hi.
Everybody good?
Yeah. know, for a couple of years. No, not even more than that. Yeah, because she has two kids with him. Yeah. The last one, she had two more fights. Yeah, I think that they were married like
Can you listen to that?
it sounds familiar.
No, I don't hear a thing.
What?
No rain.
Let's wait until tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what the sound of no rain. No, Ralph was telling me he got two of the most interesting phone calls during the week. He wanted to know if the temple would float, would we take reservations for the ark? No, I'm kidding, but it's such a great line. That's a good one. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Good. Glad you're here in the lull before the storm, and we wish you all well. And please, if it makes you feel any better, when I talked to Joshua this morning and Ezra, my son's in Cleveland, it was already starting to snow again. It was 31 degrees and snowing. So we put that in proper perspective just a little bit, And I'm sorry?
That's a warm day for them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was 45 degrees. I said, you're under heat wave. He said, yeah, kind of.
Not to mention the tornadoes that was.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it is, yeah. I was here, but I forgot about that. You're right. It's, Georgia and those people don't have enough poverty, enough trouble. It's wiping out houses. So, once again, please, during the course of the weekend, take a moment to think and appreciate what we have. I think of it all the time, and we are very blessed, and we just hope for the others. And God willing, some of the programs will get the homeless off the street all over the country, because it is very cold at night here. Well, let us begin, at least, as they say, charity begins at home, so let us begin tonight at home, bringing each other that measure of completeness and fulfillment known as shalom. Please join us for Havenu Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Havenu Shalom Aleichem, Havenu Shalom Aleichem, Havenu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem, Havenu Shalom Aleichem. Havenu Shalom Aleichem, Havenu Shalom Aleichem, Havenu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem. Please turn to the left and find somebody to wish Shabbat Shalom to. Turn to the right and let us do Ashkenaz and wish good Shabbos. Shalom Aleichem, we need you. Shalom Aleichem, we need you. Shalom Aleichem, we love you. We bring you Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem. Please turn to page 120 as Robin leads us in the candle listening.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold them. As the brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindled light.
And the Hebrew, 120. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadliknen Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Continue on page 138. Our second song of love. The first one, of course, was for each other. This one is for Shabbat. How can you love a time period? You can if it helps you become better at who you are. A day of rest, a day of completeness, a day of community, and a gift. And like a good parent, we take pride because it's a gift we gave to the world. The idea that once a week the workers need a day off, and so do the managers too. Even though I'm a member of a union for most of my career, and I still have to understand there were some good administrators, right, Joanne? A few, exactly. We both worked for the Los Angeles Uncaring School District, LAUSD. And three of us. Yeah. Joanne, before Allison leaves, you need to give her some hints. She works at Van Nuys High School for her sins. Rabbi used to say that about all the congregations that I was like, how could you say that? But so that's the same thing. So let us try together Chadodi and praise Shabbat, a day off for us and for the world, God willing. Chadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikabla Chadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikabla Shamor v'zochor v'dibur echad Yishmei anu el hamyuchad Adonai echad u'shamo echad Hashem u'tiferet v'tila Chadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikabla Chadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikabla Bo'im v'shalom ateret ba'anav Gam v'simcha u'tzahara Tokemune am segula Boi kala V'chadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikabla V'chadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikabla Please turn to page 142. How rude it would be if we didn't invite the angels to join us in worship. We all know they're there. We know that they are sent to help us. And we are so grateful and so thankful for when we have been saved from possible danger. Actually, by the way, there's a prayer when you escape danger called Gomel. And I've said it on a couple of occasions, but I'm sure it was angels watching over us. And for the mundane things, like I say, like finding where your car keys are when you need to be at an appointment. All those things that happen. See? And seriously, and she found it just in time to walk in at 7:00. See? It was meant to happen. No, that happened to me when I have two ordinations. The same one where Zalman, may rest in peace. I locked the rental car keys in my parents' house, and I couldn't get in because the door locked as it closed, right? I walked around. I found they had weeks before a nice something and cracked the window. So I put a piece of wood up. So I bandaged my hand and I went boom, punched the wood out, opened the door, went up, grabbed the car keys, closed the window, went around. I had a 10 o'clock appointment and I was in the suburbs of Philadelphia, and I don't know Philadelphia. And I'm driving, going, I'm going to be late. I'm never going to make it. I'm going to be late. I literally walked up the doorsteps at 10 o'clock. What to say? So that was an angel because certainly the traffic could have been horrendous. I could have been there like noon. So it was, it was Route 202 in Pennsylvania. So I believe in angels. So let us honor those angels with Shalom Aleichem on page 142. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei al Shoret, Malachei Melech, Malachei al Malachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. B'Shem B'Shalom, Malachi HaShalom, Malachi Elyon. Melech Malachi HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Chuni l'shalom, Malachi HaShalom, Malachi Elyon. Melech Malachi HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedechem l'shalom, Malachi HaShalom, Malachi Elyon. Oh, Melech Malachi HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Before we rise for the formal call to prayer, I have these informational packets or informational cards. There is a showing of the Diary of Anne Frank on Thursday at the Comedy Theater, sponsored by the Burbank Human Relations Council. And what can I say? They did this, they were here 3 years ago before COVID, and we talked to them, and they took it, they've been to Vancouver and other places. It is a modernization. I'm not sure I know everything about it, so I can't tell you how different it is than either the movies or like it. But if you get a group of 10 people together, I'm not sure, it sounds like it's at $10. I don't know how the Comedy Theater operates. Is it $10 a person or $10 to 10 people? I don't know. I think $10 to 10 people is like too good to be true. So I don't know. But I think it's good that we go, and truly, and I'll talk more about this later on, in this era of rising anti-Semitism, I think helping to support a play that reminds the world what true anti-Semitism was like. Not that this isn't true, I'm going. It's a good thing to do. So if you can, I have these. If I haven't given you one, Alice, I'm going to impose upon you. Why don't you take one and give it to Herb? I think everybody else got. No, did you get Joanne? I didn't give you.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, okay. You're going to take it for both of you? I'll go. You're welcome. But I meant what I said. It's important. Natasha, I gave you. Okay, good. So anyway, that's the newest thing on the horizon. And actually, the former president of the Burbank Human Relations Council, Marsha Ramos, put a bunch of these in our door. But these I got from one of the actresses who's going to be in it. So that's the most pressing things. I will announce it to the parents on Sunday, and maybe they'll go. And I think that's one way to go. And we'll see. That would be nice if Burbank, if Beth Emet had a representative, a large representative there. Mina and I are going for sure. What else to bring it to down? The next formally scheduled thing, other than Shabbat services and religious school, is we have a bat mitzvah, 2:30 on February 18th. And why is it February 2:30 in the afternoon? Because we're going to be streaming it to Australia, so that Sophia's uncles and aunts will be able to see it as well. So all bar and bat mitzvahs are open to the Temple population. So if you have some time, it's a wonderful thing to see how well we prepare our kids, and Sylvia's doing very well. We have another bar mitzvah coming up in the first weekend in April, I believe. I'll double check the calendar. Other than that, you want people to start collecting books for the book sale?
Yeah, that's our next project for the sisterhood, is with the People Book. So bring your books, and we will sell them very cheap. And
Do we have a date on it?
no, we're thinking when it gets warmer.
That makes lots of sense.
We're thinking April,
Okay.
March, April, something like that.
Yeah, I just don't want people bringing books now. Right now, that is an announcement I have, which has a date. But yeah, so we'll TBD, to be announced. So when we do, please, anything you have, every shekel counts, and whatever we give for the sister would be wonderful. And besides which, you might find some treasures. I was amazed sometimes. I was looking, not that I enjoy books, but I was looking at some of the books they're expensive, and you collect this item, first editions, you'd be surprised. And so, some treasures are there. Speaking, we are going to get a donation on Thursday of 6 cartons of children's books from a family. We answered. It was an interesting thing. I'll just take another minute and we'll go on. We got an email, and with Ralph, thank you, forwarded to me, and I thought it was a mistake. I thought she wanted another temple to take it. It turns out Ira was right, because Ira said, nope, it's a blanket email. And we were the only people who said yes. She was astounded, this woman, real sweet lady. She's astounded. She said, you've never heard so much, we're not interested, so much, no, we're not. She said, I'm so excited. And we do. And we also have a parent who is a writer of Jewish books. So we're going to take room 3, which makes a lot of sense, because room 4 is where we have Hebrew. But the Hebrew teacher in our school, Laura Goldstein, is the librarian down the street. So putting her in charge of the children's book library makes lots of sense. And so we will do that. We'll move the metal shelves in there so we can do it temporarily, or maybe leave it, and we'll put the cars away for a while, because we're not selling. But other than that, that's the other thing. We're being given a gift of 6 cartons, I think PJ Library, which is the best Jewish library for kids. And whatever we can't use, we'll talk to Melissa. Maybe Bahrain Public Library might have a use for them.
Maybe we can put them in our sale.
We could do that too. You're right. I thought about that.
Anything we don't sell, we will take to the library.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so whatever we have, like doubles, like 3 or 4, and we don't need that many, then we'll put them aside for the sister's book sale. And also we can look through our library for things that are doubles. I don't want to get rid of the Judaic, because you never know when one of our kids says, oh, my teacher gave us an assignment on ancient Egypt and I don't know what to do. Oh, wow. You have books on King Tut? Yeah. You have books on ancient Egypt? Yeah. Let me tell you one quick story that Joanne and Alice will get a kick out of. I'm teaching social studies at Sosis Sherman Oaks. And my boss, may he rest in peace, an old friend, says, I want you to teach 6th grade. And I said, I signed on to teach high school. I don't teach 6th grade. He says, will you look at the curriculum before you complain? I said, no, I told you. He said, I'll make a deal with you. Look over the curriculum over the summer, and when we come back in September, then you say no is no. Okay. So I go, He's an old friend. I owe him the courtesy of looking over the curriculum. Anybody know what California state curriculum is for social studies in the 6th grade? Well, Allison, you're a ringer. Go ahead, Allison. What is it?
Ancient Egypt.
That's one.
Yeah. Rome and Greece. Yeah.
Rome, Greece, Babylonia. Yeah, well, dang. I looked at it and said, I'm teaching Hebrew school on the other side of the desk. Son of a gun. And that was it. So I had to eat crow, which doesn't taste so good, but it was a lot of fun. Anyway, I had the best year because I had all the religious school background to give to the kids. They saw Hebrew the way it was really written, not what we use today. And we had a lot of fun. And it was like, oh, wow. So warned me, don't look at curriculum. Open the book of the curriculum before you say no. Which once again, so we'll see. But I agree, you're right. All right, at this point, anything else? Oh, yes. We need toys. We've given so much, but the bin is low again. Remember the rule. It's got to be new, unwrapped for Children's Hospital, and pediatrics goes to age 18. If you have cosmetics that you don't want, that are new, that someone gave you, and maybe it's the wrong color for you, give it to us. They will take it lovingly. Because when teenagers start to take care of themselves, they heal that much more quickly. So please, anything you can give, we do. And David here and Eileen have both taken it. It's not hard for us. It's no hardship. Just bring it here and we will make sure that they get it. So, and I think that about sums it up. Robin, anything? Okay. Would you all please rise? Oh, wait, David.
Tuesday night?
Oh, my gosh. Yes. Tuesday night is the 3rd in our series of classes. This week we are doing Pikuach Nefesh, saving a life. So we expanded it to what does life mean? What does life mean to the rationalist? And what does life mean to the mystic, to the Kabbalist? And I've had a huge fun of it. And in fact, even showing a picture of what my aura looks like. And that's a whole other story. If you want to hear the rest of the story, you have to come to class. I'm sorry? Oh, I thought somebody said something. It was one of the angels telling me to be quiet and let everybody stand. Would you all please stand?
It's your angel.
Yeah, right. Please turn to page 146 and let us chant together the Baruch Hu. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. 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 Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamevorach Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Hamevorach Le'olam Hamevorach Please turn to page 151. Let us pray together the second paragraph on that page. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works in the living language that gives it form? Everyone, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Please turn to the next page. Let us join together the washer of our faith, the gift we gave to the world, the belief in the one God, the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Ha'ed. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Praise His name, whose glorious kingdom is forever and ever. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Odavinu, Odavinu, Odavinu Chai. Odavinu, Odavinu, Odavinu Chai. Odavinu, Odavinu, Odavinu Chai. Am Yisrael Chai. Ay, ay, ay. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Please turn to page 155 and let us read together at the top of the page. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you are tired or you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai your God. Please turn to page 157 and read together at the top of the page. Everyone, standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together, and turning to page 158. We're going to start doing that because tonight we start talking about the book of Exodus. So you keep talking about Sinai, and right now, well, it'll be in a few weeks before you get to the portion that deals with Milchamocha, the song of the Reed Sea. But it's true. The lessons of Torah are very profound. And one of them is this, that no matter how people have harmed you, you cannot take joy over their demise. The best you can do is say, thank you, God, for making me who I am and for giving me the freedom of freedom. And so basically that's what the message here is, because the people wanted a cheer. The most they did was Miriam grabbed the cymbals, the tambourines rather, and made music. But other than that, believe me, they wanted the cheer. And, if someone enslaved us for 250 years, I'd be wanting the cheer too. God said, it's not the Jewish way. It's not the way to do that. Just say, thank you, God, and we'd be done with it. So, Micha Mocha, everybody, on the top of 158. Bim bim bam, yalla ba ba bim bam, yalla ba ba bim bim bam, yalla ba ba bim bam. Ay 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 ay, yalla ba ba bim bam. Ay 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 ay, yalla ba ba bim bam. Mi chamocha barim Adonai, mi chamocha gedol bakodesh, Torah dilo, oh sefer. Torah dilo, oh sefer. Yalla ba bim bam, yalla ba bim bam, yalla ba bim bam. Ay 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 ay, yalla ba bim bam. Ay 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 ay, yalla ba bim bam. Lechutecha ra'u b'necha, okei היה לפני משה. Ze'eli, Ze'eli, Anu ve'Amru, Adonai yimnu le'olam va'ed. Yapa bim bim bam, yapa bim bam, yapa bim bam, yapa bim bam. Ay 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 ay, yapa bim bam. Ay 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 ay, yapa bim bam. Ne'emar ki fa'adna et Yaakov, u'ga'alan bi'achazak. Baruch atah Adonai, God Yisrael, Yisrael. Yababa bim bim bam, yababa bim bam, yababa bim bim bam, yababa bim bam. Ay 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 ay, yababa bim bam. Ay 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 ay, yababa bim bam. Please turn to page 162. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et Shabbat. Yes, it is imperative upon us to guard and make Shabbat is a special time of the week. But I like the other interpretation. Every day should be a special day of the week. Every day should be a time that we rest, that we find something joyful, that we're able to get refreshment. And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard. And very difficult, but that's why we're told to guard it. Just find something, I remember in one of the seminars I was at, they talked about first thing you get up in the morning is, first of all, make sure all your body parts are moving. And no, I'm serious. And then later on, look outside and just think of something that gives you joy flat out. Me, I'm lucky. Our bedroom overlooks a lemon tree that Mina had us plant, Josh and me. And lately, because of the rain, those lemons are getting bigger. But what a pleasure it is to look out the window and see that first thing in the morning. Sometimes I get up too early, and then I get to look at the street lamp, but that's another story. But that's the point. Find something that just gives you joy, because then you go back to the idea that the number one joy is that you're here to appreciate it, because we're not. And so that's the thing. So once again, every day, guard the idea that you have calmness and restful. Find something, Eileen will tell you after services, she's the mistress of it. She finds more things than this show, this movie, which one did you go to see? Women Talking?
No, I want to.
Yeah, I hear it's really good. Yeah, I hear it's 2.5 hours of slamming guys. It's a lot of fun. No, I'm kidding. I want to see 80 for Brady. 80 for Brady should be a kick. I want to see 80 for Brady. That's a kick. But you understand what I'm saying? But just find something that gets you through the day. And it doesn't have to be that. I mean, I'm looking at three of my favorite musicians here. So that, not the meaning to call you a musician, is it?
No, it depends who you ask. No.
No, that would, well, for me, it's not. So, I mean, when they play, it's like we go to a whole other world. That's something you can do like that. I have this wonderful Hanukkah present. I haven't had a chance to open it yet. It's a harmonica. So I'm waiting. I have to practice my harmonica. But that's the point. Make music. Make your own music. And however you want to do it. So while we chant Vishamru, and most of you know the melody, multitask. Be thinking of new things you can do that helps you rest and find rest and comfort in the day. Vishamru, everybody, on 162. Vishamru, B'nai Yisrael, HaShabbat, La'asod et HaShabbat, V'dorotam B'Olam. Vishamru, B'nai Yisrael, HaShabbat, La'asod et HaShabbat, V'dorotam B'Olam. Vishamru, B'nai Yisrael, HaShabbat, La'asod et HaShabbat, V'dorotam B'Olam. Vishamru, B'nai Yisrael, HaShabbat, La'asod et HaShabbat, V'dorotam B'Olam. Vishamru, B'nai Yisrael, HaShabbat, La'asod et HaShabbat, V'dorotam B'Olam. Will you all please rise? I hadn't thought about it before. It's been, a week and 4 days. The two people, one almost died, and one did die due to heart things that no one expected. So let us use that as a preference for, as I asked the question I'm going to ask you. Do you know anybody who could do with a prayer of healing? And maybe ask God to take that prayer that you're giving them and put the idea in their mind, whether it's from an angel or just directly from God, to say, go get your checkup. Go get your heart checkup. Because what I'm hearing about Lisa Marie, she rest in peace, is Tuesday night at the Golden Globe, she didn't look well. She stumbled and this and that, and no one picked up on it. No one, I hate to say it, I don't want to cast aspersions. They probably assumed that she was doing something she shouldn't be doing. But you know what? That's not fair.
No.
That's flat out not fair. If you see somebody stumbling, I'll tell you, let me lighten it up and then we'll go back to the thing because I just thought of it. And sometimes when I'm standing here, all these thoughts come. I had an Orthodox, he's, I'm sure long gone, Rabbi Kremen, this very good friend, an Orthodox rabbi named Morris Kaplan. And the synagogue was down the street from Children's Hospital on Vermont, Knesset, Israel. And, you know that, that's right, you know it. Yeah, that's right. I forgot, God, the angels are doing it. They give him, okay. So anyway, do you remember what, there was a restaurant, a fast food place across the street from Knesset Israel. Do you remember what it was? The Wiener Schnitzel.
Oh.
The Wiener Schnitzel is known for the pork. So here's a very Orthodox man who's been Orthodox all his life. He's on his way to Shabbat morning services. And he walked, and he tells a story. I'm not making it. He tells a story. He's walking past the Wiener Schnitzel, and the pork so upset him, he began to stumble. And somebody grabbed him and said, "Are you drunk? Your rabbi, are you drunk?" And it was the smell of the pork. So I'm making a little bit light, but once again, he wasn't drunk. He certainly wouldn't take drugs, but he was the pork. So my point is, you don't know why someone is stumbling. So the thing you need to do is find out, ask them, are you okay? Can I help you? I mean, yes, I know we live in a time where people are because people sometimes don't react well to people asking. But on the other hand, is it better that you don't ask when someone dies? Is it better that you ask and maybe someone yells at you, you know? And one other story, and then we'll continue. A long time ago, I live next to our house is a dead end. So people park there. So one day I come out to go to work, and I see in this car is a woman is spread out across the front seat. So I got scared. I also didn't want to be late for work. So nothing, no answer. Oh, God. I'm going to be late for work. And I got on, and suddenly she jumped up and I said, "You're alive! You're alive!" And she says, "Of course, what the beep do you think I am alive? Thank you very much. I'm going to work. Bye." So, but once again, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, it's true. So my point is that we're taught in class. We're going to talk a lot about it. Pikuach nefesh, to save a life. If you don't do anything, it's as if you committed murder, and it's very powerful to our people. So I agree. If you're really worried and you're still concerned, get on your phone, dial 911, and say, "I think there's a person," and let them yell at you. You know, I'm serious. You know, so. But now let's get back to task. But if you know of somebody who could benefit from a prayer of healing, now is the time in the service to say the name aloud, because you do a triple mitzvah. Number one, you make our prayers that much more powerful. Number two, you allow us to share in the greatest of all mitzvot, pikuach nefesh, saving life. And the third mitzvah is you help heal yourself as well as the person you want healed. So please. Please repeat with me. Prayer first uttered by Moses for his sister Miriam. Elna Rafanallah. Elna Rafanallah. Elna Rafanallah. In other words, please God heal her. Speaks to Shekhinah, the center of healing that is part of God's personality. It may be a healing of body, a healing of mind, a healing of soul, of Shlema, complete healing. And let us all say, Amen. Please turn to page 371. Let us pray the Mishnah Berurah together. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Ishabera imotenu kol habracha le'avotenu, as those in need of healing, with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Each of us is unique. Each of us has a special prayer. Now is the time in the service to make use of that uniqueness. Let us pray silently from our heart to God's heart. Let us turn to page 178. Actually, let's read on page 179, at the top of the page. Everyone, grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate amongst the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praise to you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamovarach et amo Yisrael, v'shalom. And if we're to lead this quest for peace, as the prayer asks of us, turn to page 180. Let us pray a simple prayer of penitence as we prepare. Everyone, Ilaratzon, Imri Figyon Libi, Lefanecha Anai Tzurva Goali. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. Let us close. Whereas Judaism teaches it's enough to have theory, but much more important is to put it into action. This is the prayer of action. Everyone? Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimru. Amen. May the one who makes peace in the high heavens make peace for us, for all Israel, and for all who inhabit the earth. And let us all say, Amen. You may be seated. The Torah portion is called the portion called Shemot. Every Torah portion, that is the first portion of the book, carries a name with it. And this talks about all those, it reviews all those who came down with Jacob from the land of Israel to Egypt. But then right away he gets into the gritty nitty of the entire book and maybe the rest of the Torah portion. A new Pharaoh arose who did not know Joseph. All of a sudden, and it says, if there's a war, these people plot against us. So this is, according to basically some historians, the first actual anti-Semitism in the Bible. We have other times where tribes didn't like Abraham, but he was a usurper. Here's the first time where they called us a group of fifth columnists, so to speak. So what happens is Pharaoh wants us to become slaves. They want to kill us. And I'll talk more about the two ladies, Shifra and Puah, in a minute. And you know the rest of it. The family sends the first Jewish sailor in history, Moses, down the Nile River in a boat of reeds. And his sister, who we'll talk about in a minute, stands and watches him. And when Pharaoh's daughter, who had no children, of course was barren, not of course, but was barren, looks for a nursemaid. Okay? Moses kills an Egyptian overseer. He flees to Midian, to the Sinai Peninsula. And at that point, he is looking for a lost sheep, and he comes upon a burning bush. And the burning bush tells him, you are to go for your people. And of course, Moses says he's afraid, and he says, I'm slow of speech. And I'm giving you this very quick thing because I don't want to talk about what I take out of this Torah portion. And then Moses goes down there, and he says, I am the emissary of God. I love this part. So Pharaoh says, and what's the name of your God? He says, I am that I am. And Pharaoh says, really? Your God is Popeye? And you were waiting for me to do that because you knew I was going to. Yeah, if they God is Popeye, then Pharaoh must be Pluto. Anyway, we'll deal with that later. Anyway, but getting back to it. So Pharaoh gets ticked. He says, how dare you, you bunch of smelly shepherds. I'm going to take away the straw from the bricks. And that's how the Torah portion ends. Moses talks to God and feels really bad. Okay. So now, what is the Torah portion talking about? Well, first of all, it's reminding us that when we live outside the land of Israel, a new ruler could come up and consider us to be anti-country. And as much as I love America, there have been times when we have had leaders in America who were anti-Semitic. So just throw it out. It's not new, and we are different, and things of that nature. But the Torah then feels kind of bad, you know. No, let me step back. most people, when you say Torah, they either see the scroll or they see a chumash, which is the book. This is one of my chumashes. This is one of the Hebrew ones I use. But that's it. So they see it as a book, and they see it as a scroll. What they don't realize is that the Torah was oral. Every Monday and Thursday and twice on Shabbat, they call them scribes, but they were really spokesmen, would go to the marketplace and talk to people about what the stories of the Torah was. Why? Because they were trying to get adherents. They were trying to get people to join our people or to defend us against unruly sin. So right away, you have this dramatic thing. The Pharaoh said this and A, B, C, and D. Not that it didn't happen, but this is how it was related to the rest of the world. But then Pharaoh makes this offer that all the males are to be killed and the women are to live, obviously, because then they would marry Egyptians and Judaism would cease to exist. 2 Egyptian women, Shifra and Puah, are midwives. And they don't let the boys die. When Pharaoh's soldiers come and give them a hard time, they said, I'm sorry, these Jewish women are too strong. By the time we arrive on the scene, the baby's already born, and we can't kill them. You don't kill a living person. So it has a lot of different things in it. So right away, the Torah is saying, Pharaoh bad, Egyptian people okay. Okay, and that's something that lives throughout Judaism. I was talking about it to somebody during this week. There's a one line in the Talmud that's magnificent. It says, Dina Malkuta Dina. And you've heard me speak of it before because I'm so impressed with it. It means the law of the land shall be your law. And what's enabled us to be good neighbors is that we use civil law if it doesn't interfere with our Judaism. Go into civil law. And it's very, very profound because we're living, when it was written, was 2,000 years ago, when there was a lot of distinction between good people and you're different. So we were saying, no, let us become a part of the country by obeying the laws unless it's for the Judaism. So I go aside. I'll talk about this another time. So now the scene is set. This one Levite family has a baby boy, and they watch him, and the Torah says that they watch him for 3 months until, let's be honest, all of us who have been parents know after 3 months, they cry a lot, and they make lots of noise, and they get scared. And actually, in the Mills movie, you mentioned it in the email, Joanne, about it, but that one scene, he's crying, and they get scared, so they put him in the read and go. So now we have, I'm going to step back in the presence of a fellow history teacher, and I'm going to say something. Moses, according to the Torah, means from the water. No, it doesn't. It's a great story. It doesn't mean that. Moses in Egyptian is son. Now, on the other hand, that kind of makes sense that Pharaoh's daughter could call him son, right? Call him boy. But that's what it's because there's a stele, a mesha, that talks about it, and it says, Moshe Ra. Moses, the son of Ra, the god. So that's the whole point. So I just want to give you a little bit of history to not all fable. But then we get to his older sister. This is so cool. His older sister's name is Miriam, which means Miriam. Very good. If you take Miriam apart, it becomes Mar Yam, bitter waters. So most people think it's because later on she cried bitter tears because she didn't like Zipporah, Moses' wife. No, I don't think so, because Torah doesn't do that. Torah doesn't give a nasty name, except for Delilah. Da in Aramaic is of, and Lila is night. So Samson's girlfriend Delilah was a woman of the night. Yeah, I have some very religious Catholic friends of mine who they were so proud of their daughter Delilah. God, I had to bite my tongue. I had to bite my tongue not to tell him. It was so bad. But anyway, getting back to the story. So Miriam means water. So where's Miriam standing when Moses is going down the Nile? She's standing in the water. And it's the brackish water of the Nile, which is a drowned estuary. It's a whole other story. We'll get to that when we do the research. But that's the point. Her name was because the example she was is, here's the girl standing in the brackish water, Mar Yam, Miriam. Just to throw a little bit of a scholarly for you. Now, Moses goes up to the top of the mountain, a bush talks to him, and you want to read a book called The Bible is History. Bible is History talks about there are trees in the Sinai Peninsula that burn, but they get hit by lightning, they burn, but they're not consumed, which is what it says. Why? Because their roots are so big that when they suck up the water, they suck up the natural gas that goes with it. So when the lightning hits the natural gas, it makes a flame. But because the water is there, it doesn't consume. So his name is Werner Keller. It's a kick of a book, if you're going to do ancient world. So anyway, doesn't matter. The bush talks to him, and the bush says to him, Your ancestors knew me as El Shaddai. El Shaddai literally is translated the God of power. Well, who were his ancestors? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who had wealth. They had flocks of troops. They had lots of people. So he said, but that's not my real name. My real name is Yahweh. Well, it's written Yahweh, Yud He Vav He in Hebrew. Yud He Vav He, as one word, is he was, he is, he will be. In one word. So what does it mean? God is the eternal one. And then God says to them, I have heard the cry of my people. I was always here, but I've heard the cry of my people. And the question is, why did God wait so long? It's because it seems that people were willing to accept that they were slaves. They had that mentality. But finally, they began to rebel. Finally, they began to say, we don't want to do this anymore. And so what does God do? He sends a deliverer, Moses. And this is the best part. God says, Moses, you're going to rescue your people. And Moses says, I am slow of speech. Yeah. What do you mean you're slow of speech? What does that mean? You were raised by the linguistics of the Pharaoh's course. What it was Moses was afraid. I'd be afraid too if I'm facing a murder rap in Egypt. I don't want to go back to Egypt where this guy knows me, the most powerful man I have ever met, the Pharaoh of Egypt. I'm going to go back and talk me alone, and I'll send your brother. Oh, that helps a lot. The two of us are going to go talk to this guy. So Moses was afraid. So he made up an excuse. So now I have one thing to say to this, but I'll tell you the story. The rabbis couldn't deal with this. When they were reading Torah, they couldn't deal that the greatest of all our prophets would be afraid. They couldn't deal with it. So they make this great legend. It's not in Torah, it's in the Midrash. And the Midrash is, why was Moses slow of speech? When Moses was a baby and he was sitting on his grandfather's knee, he took his grandfather's crown, the Pharaoh, and put it on his head. So the Egyptian soothsayer said, he's going to steal your kingdom, he's going to overthrow the kingdom, he's going to take over. So the Pharaoh said, all right, guys, you nudged me enough. You said, get it out, you mind? Pharaoh used a Yiddish term, no. Anyway, so he said, I'll make a deal. Bring me 2 big bowls, one with coals, hot coals, and one with diamonds. If the baby reaches for the diamonds, I'll kill him. But if he reaches for the hot coals, I'll let him live. Well, all of you who've ever known babies, as soon as they see the light twinkling, they're going to reach for the diamonds. He does. The Archangel Gabriel comes down, slaps his hand. He puts his hand, and there was still a bit of ash dust on his fingers. He put it in his mouth, and what happened? He blistered his tongue. And that's why he was slow of speech. Absolutely great story. I mean, there's lots to go into about that, but not for tonight. But the point is, no, because they just couldn't. Our greatest prophet was afraid. No joke. I'd be afraid too. Hi, I'm Pharaoh. I'm the greatest, most powerful man on earth. Who sent you? The Bush sent me. Unless it was George W. We don't get. Thank you. I knew I'd get that. So anyway, so Moses goes, and Pharaoh does what Pharaohs do. What do you mean? Who are you? You smelly shepherd. You long-bearded. I'm not going to listen to you. Now, because you got a big mouth, you Moses and you Aaron, I'm going to take away the straw. And now they can make bricks without straw. Ever try to make bricks without straw? Ever try to make bricks at all? Anyway, the point is it's hard. So the people yelled at Moses. So Moses did the right thing. He yelled at God. That's probably the most important, the most profound part. I love this story. You can tell I love this section of Torah. Moses argued with God. Why did you send me? What good am I to the people? I made their life worse. So you know what God says? Don't worry, be happy. I'll take care of it. And now we have next week. So you got to come back to the rest of the portion. But that's the point. So what is the teaching? What is Torah teaching? That you're allowed to argue with God. And this I want to close with this because it's important for us. When people are angry, usually over the loss of someone they love, they want to yell at somebody. But if they yell at God, they feel, I can't yell at God. God is God. You can't yell at God. Heck, you can't. And let me use a later portion to talk about it. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha. It doesn't say you will obey the Lord your God. It says you will love. And all of you who have ever been in love know part of love isn't ecstasy. It isn't joy. Part of it is disappointment. And part of it is flat out anger. So what is Torah teaching us? That when you're upset and you failed people you love, because Moses was showing a huge amount of love for his people, you get to yell at God. He said, why did you do this? And that's the point. Later on, as in all of our lives, you will see how God handles Pharaoh. As hopefully for all of you, God will handle the pharaohs in your life. Hopefully you don't have any, but if you do, but that's the point. So as you can tell, I love the book of Exodus. It's a lot of fun, and I'm very thankful for Cecil B. DeMille. No, I mean it. I'm not making a joke. I'm being very straight and very serious. He has helped more Jewish people understand their own Torah than could be, and he didn't do it out of without a lack of knowledge. There's a book, and I have it, called Moses in Judaism. That's this thick. It was all the notes he took on how to do the movie correctly according to historical sources. Let alone, I have a copy here in the temple. I was at home. It's home. You young people don't know from guidebooks. When we were your age, if you went to the movie and you spent like $2 or $3, they gave you a guidebook that had to do with the movie. They're quite valuable these days. Often the Ten Commandments is a kick. It's got drawings of the scenes, and it's got the flags. And so, once again, I love it because as a teacher, there's tremendous visual aids. So let me close because we're getting a little later on. And you can tell, I could spend hours talking about the book of Exodus. It is a phenomenal, phenomenal book. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Enjoy yourself. And unfortunately, you won't see the Ten Commandments till Easter time. That's about the time it goes out, Passover. But although I don't know, nowadays with Hulu, Yulu, it may be there. Also, now I'm going to do trivia with Eileen. You ready?
Yeah.
Name 3 actors who've portrayed Moses. 3 famous actors. Well, Charlie is the obvious one, yeah?
She's good at trivia too. I don't know. Christian Bale.
I'm sorry?
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale. Oh, I thought about him. Okay. Now we get the 40. Give me one I thought of. Go ahead. 2 more.
Some silent movie guy.
You ready? Ben Kingsley. Yeah, there's a program where he plays Moses. I forget, probably called the something commandment. I'll look it up. But the one I'm thinking about was on TV. Burt Lancaster. Burt Lancaster played Moses.
Right, because his son he used his son. No, that was Charles.
No, but it was on TV. But tell you the truth, if I have to pick one, I like the Charlton Heston version. The Burt Lancaster one was closer to the truth with Ben Kingsley too. It's no fun. I want the drama. I want 4 million people. I want someone saying there are Nubians there too. Gotcha. But seriously, yeah. But the others are great too. And seeing Lancaster is a kick. Seeing Lancaster as Moses. All right. I'll let you redeem yourself. Who played Pope John the 23rd without his wheelchair? And that's a hint. Or without his courtroom.
Barry Mason.
Yeah. Raymond Burr. Yeah. Raymond Burr played. Because it's a true story of Pope John the 23rd rescuing Jewish young people on the boat when he was Archbishop of Turkey. Yeah. Huh?
Always liked him.
Oh, I do too. Would you all please rise? We'll do this all night. No one go home. Me will be mad at me for dinner. Come on, everybody. Please turn to page 586 and join us for Aleinu. See, the problem is we have too much fun with this stuff. Aleinu Shabbat Ladon Hakol Latet Gedula Liotzer Bereshit Shelo Asanu Kigoye Haratzot Velo Samanu Kimishpachot Adama Shelo Sam Chelkeinu Kahem Vegor Aleinu Kechol Hamonam Banatnu Korim ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Please turn to page 588. יהודה תשעים ויוסר על הארץ ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל ושכינתו זו וגבהם ברומי הוא אלוהינו אין עוד אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו ככתוב בתורתם, ידעת היום והשבותה אל לבביך. כי אדוני אלוהים השמיים והעם והארץ מתחת עינו. Please turn to page 591. We finish Aleinu with V'ne'emar. V'ne'emar, V'haya Adonai, V'melech al kol ha'aretz, V'yom hahu, V'yom hahu, Yeh Adonai echad, U'shemo, U'shemo, U'shemo echad. It is my honor to call to mind those whom we translated to eternity in recent days and weeks, and those whom we remember in yahrzeit memory. Sylvia Becker, Jeffrey Brian Flasher, Mayor Nudell, Ben Zoper, Edward Zimmer, Rajan Avashar, Frida Mures, Tony Mattis, Shirley Wolf, Bernice Hirsch. Robert Dolan, Richard Emerson, Yazan Faleh, Shirel Abu Karat, Amir Kuri. Steve Parker, Debbie Newell, Jessica Escott, Robert Cantor, Ruth Glick, Melvin John Delbrug, Arlen Meyerson, Alex Mehrabi, Moshe Ben Meir, Devorah Bat Ploni, Devorah Bat Yaakov, Eva Morales, Irma Garcia, Lucia Garcia, Xavier Javier Lopez, Alejandra Cruz Torres, Jose Flores, Jayla Silguero, Leila Salazar, Jesh Luvenos, Amir Joe Garza, Lydia Ramirez, Tess Marie Mata, Alexandria Lexi Rubio, McKenna Lee Elrod, Navea Bravo, Alejandra Ali Garcia, Rogelio Torres, Mate Rodriguez, Jacqueline Cesares, Hannah Klein, Tova Bat Arieleb, Bill Newman, Jeannie Mintz, Hillary Martin, Jessica Carol Schofer, Vince Scully, Penina Bat Chaim, Robert Hollander, Uri Raffaelli, Gilda Siegel, Donald Goldstein, Jack Cohn, Vivian Gersh, Paula Levin, Debbie Craven, Harriet Lazarus, Shana Rachel Bat Chaim, Leo Strom, Jay Davis, William Pagel, Yvonne Belzer, Ellen Woodrum, Lila Tepper, Sidonia Lax, Marie Chido, Pele, Aaron Ben Simantov, Lisa Marie Presley. The Kaddish prayer is found on page 598. If you're here during the anniversary of death of a loved one and during appearance of the 10th morning, please come to this line. We are still under COVID restrictions, so I can't have you approach the ark. The Kaddish is found on page 598. As board policy, we all recite the Kaddish for those who have no one to say Kaddish for them. So let us pray together. Everyone. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shnei Rava. V'yalma divrach Yeruteh, v'yamlik malchuteh. V'chayechom, v'yomechom, chayei dekol Beit Yisrael. B'agala v'zman kariv yimru. Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba, v'vorach le'olam, v'amei ameya. Yitbarak, v'yishtabak, v'yitpoar, v'yitramam, v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, Shmei dekudisha, b'richu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush b'chata v'nechamata. V'amiran v'yalma yimru. Amen. Yehei Shlomo Rabba min Shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael yimru. Amen. Oseh shalom yimrumav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael yimru. Amen. You may go back to your seats. You may be seated. Sorry about that, guys. What happened? It's not clean?
No.
I can go do that. Go. I'm gonna go. Let's go. It's okay. No, I feel bad because I did the washing. No, I didn't clean the glass good enough.
He's going with a drink from it.
About what?
It's strange to hear.
Yeah.
Can you speak? Later. Okay.
Bang.
Go bed. That's go just.
Is Tracy a part of this, new play that?
No, no.
She's not.
But you give me. We'll talk about it for Sunday. I think we should start on. I think that was one of Yvonne's dreams, was that we would actually start a theater company of true amateurs, not pros who just want to moonlight, but we would actually do it at the temple and do stuff like that. So we'll talk about it. Yeah. Well, Howard wants to. And we're gonna, well, no, I'm sorry, guys. I apologize. Good. Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzah b'anu. Shabbat kadashah Yahalo ratzon yigilanu. Zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit. Kiruyo tefillah l'mikra'e kodesh. Zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim. Kivanu v'charta yotanu kidashta mikol hamim. V'shabbat kashecha Yahalo ratzon v'chaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh Shabbat. Amen. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Motzi lechem min haaretz, we give thanks to God for bread. The voices join in happy chorus as our prayer is humbly said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, motzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Thank you. You know, I owe you all an apology. We have someone who's been with us 2 weeks in a row, and I didn't introduce you to the congregation. So Natasha, this is Robin Kreisberg. This is David Nathans. Natasha, you know yourself. That's Eileen Martin. That's Joanne Severin. That's Allison Murphy. That's Herb Murez. And it's Olivia Goldstein. And that's her father, that's David Goldstein. And everybody, there's Natasha, who just joined our community. So make sure you go be friendly. Yeah, welcome Beth Emet, and we hope you'll keep joining us because we're glad you're here. And I apologize for not doing it last week. Okay, welcome to Beth Emet. What?
We have to come back twice to be introduced.
Well, we have to. Listen, all right. I do have a peak, and Sunday morning I'm teaching school, and a man knocks on the door, and he's wearing a backpack, and I'm not sure where he lives. Let me leave it at that, okay? And he says, "How long will you be teaching?" I said, "I'll be teaching the rest of the morning." "Oh, aren't you a Messianic Jewish congregation?" Yeah, and I went, no, we're a regular Jewish congregation. Oh, please read this, and of course he gives me a pamphlet. So that's not so bad. I mean, it happens. I get a phone call, I answer the phone. Hello, hi, I looked you up on Google. You're a Messianic Jewish congregation. I said, no, we're not. Wait a minute, it does end funny. So I called Ira. I said, Ira, we can't keep doing it. Find out. So Ira said, okay, I'll take care of it. He said, by the way, I just looked up on Google while I was talking to you, Rabbi. Yeah, what? You're gonna love this. You know what the Messianic congregations in Burbank are? Temple Beth Emet, Temple Emmanuel, and Temple Beth Am in the city. I don't know if someone was playing games or someone was just having fun with us, but I said to Ira, I said, Beth, of all congregations, one of the largest conservative congregations in the entire city, they're now Messianic Jewish. I bet that's going to be quite a surprise to them too. So that's why I talk about people coming once and don't come back. That's it goes with the territory. What can I say? Say shalom b'romah, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu. Yaakov Yisrael. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Shabbat shalom.